It's here, Levitt's sensational loading dock sale. Levitt's buys furniture by the trainload, and periodically we must adjust our warehouse inventory. So, Levitt's buyers have slashed prices on hundreds of America's best-known brands of furniture. Outstanding price cuts right here on our warehouse loading dock, plus hundreds more from our giant showroom. Hurry, cash in on the savings during Levitt's big loading dock sale. Don't let it pass you by.
Love it at Levitt's.
If your trash can looks like it should be thrown out along with the trash, take advantage of this Rubbermaid roughneck trash container, now just $10.99, as True Value Hardware Store's August Hardware Value of the Month. The 30-gallon roughneck is especially constructed to take abuse as well as trash without denting or cracking. It features a locking lid and stands up to all kinds of weather. Yet it's just $10.99 while supplies last at True Value Hardware Stores displaying this banner.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Good afternoon and welcome to Midday, live from the Minnesota State Fair. The native North American dancers and singers you are seeing performing right now are appearing here at the Minnesota State Fair and Natural Resources Park. They have come to us from several states in the United States as well as Canada to bring you authentic Indian performances, and they appear at 11, 2, and 5 each day at Natural Resources Park right across the street from us here at the Minnesota State Fair. Cindy, it's an exciting time and a very authentic look into the heritage of our nation.
Indeed it is. We have such a busy show. We're also going to get you ready for the football season with former NFL star John Dockery.
Okay, and we're going to talk to Mike Fairbourne, too, and folks out here have some questions for him, so we'll be doing that. The Reedy family singers are here. It's a busy, busy day, and we hope you stick with us as we proceed throughout Midday today. Right now, we're going to go back inside the studio where Camilla Carr is going to bring you the late news. Camilla?
Thank you, Bill. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, John Anderson's brief campaign swing to Minnesota is finally over, and the Illinois congressman is on to his next stop, San Francisco. Last night, Anderson supporters, who easily collected enough signatures to put their man's name on state ballots in November, held a rally at the Minneapolis Auditorium, and their enthusiasm has not diminished. WCCO's Karen Boris was there.
The candidate has the unique potential for hurting both Reagan and Carter in Minnesota. According to staff, Reagan's hawk-like speeches, unmellowed by Bush's addition to the ticket, seem to help Anderson, and the economy is driving former DFLers into the fold. Anderson supporters say they have the potential not just to do well here, but to win.
There is a sense in which both the Republican and the Democratic parties in this state have been refreshingly different in some respects from their counterparts in other states and in other parts of the country.
Wisconsin's Patrick Lucey is reportedly Anderson's choice as a running mate, but so far Anderson says he's keeping his options open. And in world news, labor strikes in Poland continue to spread, and now residents in Warsaw are expected to join the work stoppage today. So far, port facilities and at least 400 factories are shut down as 150,000 workers demand higher pay and more political freedom. Today, the Polish government replaced the deputy premier who had headed the commission trying to settle the strike. And the Central American nation of El Salvador is facing a new problem today. It seems that the entire country is blacked out after 1,500 workers seized 9 power plants in an anti-government demonstration. The only power in the country is now coming from a few gasoline-powered auxiliary generators. The protesters are demanding union rights and an end to repression by what they are terming a genocidal government. And a Soviet tugboat is towing home a crippled nuclear submarine damaged by fire about 80 miles from Okinawa. Japanese radiation experts report no signs of increased radioactivity, however, near the site of that accident. And nationally, prices paid by consumers held steady in July for the first time in 13 years. The nation's economic improvement is credited to the sharp drop in the cost of home mortgages. But the cost of food and beverages rose by nearly 1% during the month. And in the Twin Cities, food prices increased by 1.3% last month. Workers at the St. Paul Ford plant are facing another layoff beginning next Monday. The 1,600 workers at the light truck factory will be idle for an indefinite period, and it will be the 18th week the employees will be out of jobs since last November. The plant had resumed production only a few days ago. And in other economic news, the Senate Finance Committee has given preliminary approval to a $39 billion tax cut. The committee chairman, Russell Long, says the money will spur the economy while fighting inflation.
We have too much inflation, and the principal reason is that our production is down. It's going down rather than up. To turn that around, increase productivity, we need a tax cut that will create jobs, provide investments, and we also need to do something for people because they're going to have to pay a lot more taxes because of inflation.
But the package may face some rough sledding in the House, and even the head of the Senate Budget Committee is not predicting passage in the full Senate. Senator Ernest Hollings says election year fever would be the only cause for senators to go along with tax cuts. And Billy Carter is back on Capitol Hill today, taking his case to the special committee investigating his ties to the Libyan government. Yesterday, the president's brother Billy defended his activities.
Chairman, I hope this testimony will show in common sense fashion that Billy Carter is not a buffoon, a boob, or a wacko, as some public figures have so described him. I am a common citizen with uncommon financial and family problems.
Billy also said that any discussion about Libya with the president was strictly shooting the bull. And at noon, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 8.5 points. I'll have more news in just a moment, so stay with us.
Furniture World's fabulous grand opening in Oakdale and Eau Claire is now going strong. Treat your senses to the freshest, brightest, most exciting new famous brand furniture displays. Walk through a wonderland of dramatically accessorized room settings. Highlight your home with a luxurious sofa and love seat featuring down soft 100% Herculon cushions in a solid oak frame. Grand opening price, both pieces only $499. You'll find hundreds of similar grand opening values at all 6 Furniture World locations: Burnsville, Roseville, Crystal, Oakdale, Mankato, and Eau Claire.
Kemp's French Vanilla with toasted almonds. Golden, custardy French vanilla ice cream with toasted almonds. Ah. Kemp's French Vanilla with toasted almonds. A special limited edition ice cream flavor that tastes as good as you think it will.
Underwater hockey was developed to keep scuba divers in shape during the winter months. Find out why it's become a fast-growing sport for divers of all ages here in Minnesota.
And discover the fascinating story behind Hervé Villechaize, known to most TV viewers as Tattoo on the popular series Fantasy Island, on the next PM Magazine.
PM Magazine.
A Corcoran man and his mother, accused of killing and dismembering the man's wife, appeared in Hennepin County District Court this morning. David Hoffman's arraignment was continued until September 3rd, and the probable cause hearing for his mother, September 4th. Both are charged with second-degree murder. Divers found the nude torso of 26-year-old Carol Hoffman in Weaver Lake on Wednesday, and a search of that lake continues today. Hoffman had reported his wife missing on August 11th. Judge David Leslie set bail for Hoffman at $150,000 and for his mother at $40,000. The effort of the Interior Department to study development on the St. Croix River has hit a snag. It seems that Control Data's Employees Recreation Foundation has filed suit against the department for its recent moratorium on construction along the St. Croix. That 18-month moratorium forced the employees to shelve their plans for a marina near Hastings. The lawsuit alleges the moratorium is arbitrary and capricious. State Senate Majority Leader Nick Coleman is back in University of Minnesota hospitals today, but the DFLer's physician says he is suffering from a complication of chemotherapy and that his leukemia is still in remission. When members of the American Legion got sick in Philadelphia several years ago, the nation became aware of an illness called Legionnaire's disease. More recently, 17 people died of the symptoms in Burlington, Vermont. Now a new test has been discovered to identify that disease, as Beverly McFarland reports.
Patient's saliva is fixed to a slide with 3 antibodies. The critical step involves the addition of an enzyme which enlarges the bacteria and changes the color.
By developing the color-resist enzyme, we increase the size of the molecule, and then we can tell specifically that the bacteria is present.
Dr. Albert Castro and Dr. Timothy Cleary are 2 University of Miami medical researchers who developed the test under a National Institutes of Health grant. The diagnostic procedure is retroactive. That means tissue samples from as far back as 1929 can be tested to determine if deaths listed as pneumonia were actually caused by Legionnaire's disease. Until this discovery, conclusive testing for Legionnaire's disease involved months of incubation and culture of the elusive bacteria. Since Legionnaire's disease is relatively simple to treat, early detection can prevent death and widespread infection. Beverly McFarland for CBS News, Miami.
Well, the weather is continuing to cooperate on this, the second day of the Minnesota State Fair. Our weather staff says it will be mostly sunny in the Twin Cities today with a high in the mid-80s. Tonight, we should have clear to partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of a shower. Tonight's low will be in the lower 60s. And on Saturday, we'll have variable cloudiness with a few showers and a high in the middle 80s. Right now, it's 79 degrees, winds from the southwest at 9 miles per hour under sunny skies. Coming up on Midday, WCCO's Mike Fairbourne to answer fairgoers' questions about the weather.
The Good Earth restaurants serve good food naturally, like fresh fruits, vegetables, and wok-cooked dishes. The Good Earth restaurants, good food that's good for you.
The Impala by Charmstep is the most comfortable shoe you'll ever wear. Any time of the day, any place you want to go, the Impala by Charmstep will take you there in style and comfort. In all your favorite colors at a popular price, the Impala by Charmstep is the favorite soft-bottom shoe of thousands of women like you.
A better Medicare? SHARE, the health maintenance organization, tells how in this kit. Imagine the SHARE Senior Care Plan provides all required physician and hospital services without deductibles, unexpected out-of-pocket costs, or complicated forms. Call 854-8333. It's easy to qualify for SHARE's low-cost, quality care. SHARE makes Medicare better.
Did you know that diabetes is the leading cause of blindness? Gangrene? Heart attack? Why don't you take a simple blood test? Maybe save your life.
Just like that.
John Dockery is with us. He played with the New York Jets the year that they won the Super Bowl against the Colts. But now he's involved in Nerf football clinics for young people. And today we have some participants with John who are from the Jerry Gamble Boys Club in the Twin City area. What are you teaching them over there, John?
Talking, Cindy, about passing the football, and it's some very basic technique. And the idea is to get a good balance, right? Carry that ball with 2 hands. The left hand is the guide, looking downfield. All right, so he's up there ready to go, and he's going to look downfield and deliver it to the receiver downfield. Now, it's all important when you're teaching youngsters is to get them the proper equipment. And you can see we're using the Nerf football because it's easier for youngsters to throw. It's smaller and lighter and just much easier for them to handle, and you're encouraging them. If they can do something, they'll come back and do it again, and that's why we use the Nerf football. So he's got good balance here. His knees are bent, and when he steps to the receiver, right, Robbie, you're going to step towards that receiver, delivering the ball. Okay, step. He's going to step, and then he's going to follow through after delivering the ball, so his hand will be something like this when he follows through, always looking at that receiver downfield. You don't want to throw across your body. You want to get your body into the motion when you throw. Okay, Robbie?
Are girls participating in this too? I see Elizabeth standing over there.
No harm in ladies learning about the game, okay? And Elizabeth here is going to talk a little bit about pass receiving. And when a receiver is catching the ball, you want to have your hands wide open like that, right, Elizabeth? Fingers wide, all right? So watching the ball always into your hands. A lot of receivers don't catch the ball because they're looking away and they're dropping it. But Elizabeth is looking right into her hands, and here comes the Nerf football, bang, and she tucks it away. See that? If you tuck it away and put your finger over the point, then no one will come by and knock it out. So
she has a bright future, I think. Come on over and sit down, John. Let's have a round of applause for our participants. They were very good. I want to introduce you to two of their fellow people from the Boys Club. We have Tony and Joey there. What year did you win the Super Bowl? Well, you didn't win it alone, of course.
Oh, I like to think I won it alone. 1969, the Jets 18-point underdogs against the Colts. And we won it in Miami in the Orange Bowl, and I've been smiling ever since.
Have you really? Is it fun to work with young people and get them excited about what you have made your profession?
You know, it's a joy because they're so open to learning things. They're like a giant sponge, and they just want to learn. You know, I went to the Boys Club at the Jerry Gamble Boys Club. We were going to have the Nerf Sports Training Clinic, and one of the directors told me there, you know, he was trying to get some of the boys interested in their football program, and they weren't really excited about it until he started working, you know, with the Nerf ball. The little guy, you know, was able to throw a 30-yard spiral, started getting exciting about being involved in playing football, and I just love to see it because you can learn so much.
I love to see that kind of energy. Thank you so much for being with us, John, on Midday and sharing some of your profession and sharing some time with some great kids as well.
Thank you, Cindy.
And now we are going to go to the other side of the fairgrounds and see what Bill Carlson is up to.
The outside of the building may look as it did as far back as 1907, but the inside has a brand new look this year, thanks to Bob Lesh, who is superintendent of the arts here at the Minnesota State Fair. 1907, this was a dairy building, wasn't that, Bob?
That's correct. It was built as a dairy building and stayed that way until it was made Machinery Hall, which it was until 2 years ago.
And that was just for a couple of years, wasn't it? Maybe 10 or so?
I really don't know the age of the change.
But for those who may have had to climb the stairs to get to the art exhibit in the grandstand, the third or fourth floor of the grandstand for these many years, this is where things are now, just to the north of the 4-H building. You've done a marvelous job here, Bob.
Well, many people have done a marvelous job because the architects and contractors have gone the extra mile to get this finished for the fair. It was a rather horrendous project. We occupied August 1st before it was completed and have constructed a gallery and used it at the same time.
It's a beautiful, bright, and airy place, and I would suspect a lot more folks are going to have a chance to view the fine arts this year.
Well, one of the limitations on the third floor was the climb for people. It was not really accessible to handicap. And then something that artists might not know, but 90% of the fairgoers come to Machinery Hall. And we're expecting somewhere between 500,000 and 750,000 people to come through here.
It was the dairy building, then Machinery Hall. Are you going to give it a new name this year, Bob?
Yes, it's called the Arts Center, singular, or not Fine Arts Center, because it will be used in the future on off fair times.
Well, the invitation is open. Come on up to the Arts Center and enjoy.
Very much so.
Summer fruits, juicy plums, plums for every taste. Juicy plums, summer fruits from California, fresh from the tree. Peaches, nectarines, and juicy plums. Ooh, they're so refreshing and light, nature's way of smiling. Fresh summer fruits, juicy plums.
Betty White for butternut coffee.
Ah, here comes our morning coffee. Here comes the butternut coffee. Butternut? For your first cup of the morning, you want first cup of the morning flavor. That's my butternut. Betty, you're right. This is delicious coffee. You know, butternut is premium roasted for flavor. First cup of the morning flavor. I think she's got it. Butternut. First cup of the morning flavor every time.
Don Cassidy's stocking caps in baseball season?
You got it, Ray. Sure, it's different, but Kelvin likes our fans comfortable the year round.
Ray Scott for CCO-FM Radio to say we're delighted to join with the Twins in one of their great events, Stocking Cap Day at the Met.
We've been excited about this idea since last winter because it's really the first opportunity for us to honor kids and adults alike, meaning the first 20,000 of any age will receive this gift.
Then the Twins and the Tigers will cap the day?
Does that mean like us pulling the wool over their eyes, Ray?
We'll see you Sunday at the Met.
Among the broadcast people who receive the most criticism, usually unwarranted, are weather people.
I would know that well, don't you?
Right. I would like you to meet our meteorologist at Channel 4, Mike Fairbourne. I think... See, a few positive vibes, Mike, before we get some negative.
I thought we would hear at least hear one or two boos out there.
Okay, I'm going to slip down into the audience, Mike. I know that we have a weather center, and while I'm going down to the audience, why don't you tell folks what they can see there if they come
there? Okay, we have around the metropolitan area a series of WeatherNet stations, and we get observations from them on a daily basis, but we have one of our WeatherNet stations set up inside of our weather display booth over here. And so you can see the kind of instrumentation that we do have there. And in addition to that, we have a monitor. We're playing some videotapes. We're showing some satellite sequences, some interesting ones that we've collected over the past year, showing some hurricanes out in the Atlantic, showing some weather systems moving through the 5-state area, and also showing a replay of the tornado special that we ran here on WCCO earlier this spring. So a little refresher course for you over there if you had any questions on tornadoes. You got some questions, Bill?
Right, Mike, and I'm going to sneak a ringer in. I'm going to confess everything. My daughter, she just said, Dad, don't tell him. This is my daughter, Sue, and I think Sue deserves a... Sue had a question. She gets some personal attention about weather questions on occasion.
How do you choose a WeatherNet city?
How do we choose a WeatherNet city? Our primary purpose in establishing the WeatherNet was to provide some kind of what we refer to as a mesoscale. Now, we have Weather Bureau stations here at the Twin Cities. We have one in Rochester. We have one in St. Cloud. But as you know, Rochester, Redwood Falls, St. Cloud are a long ways from the Twin Cities, and weather happens between Redwood Falls and the Twin Cities. So we wanted a couple of stations in between where we could see actually what was happening in that kind of no man's land out there. And we picked cities that were a little bit larger than the small ones, but were strategically located about 70 miles away from the Twin Cities, and that's how we selected those sites.
There we have the answer to that one. You have a question?
Yes. There's a term that I've heard on the weather a few times. It's just been boggling my mind. It's amalgamous propagation. What does that mean?
It's
sounds like a restaurant that used to be just...
or a terrible disease. Anomalous propagation. Whenever the radar sends its little pulse out and it bounces off something, we see a target on the radar screen. Well, sometimes when that radar sends its little signal out, it doesn't hit anything that's really there. It hits different densities in the air. It hits different moisture content of the air. And it doesn't know that it's not seeing anything, and it sends us back a signal. And it's just a false echo on the radar screen, and the technical term for it is anomalous propagation, and we figured you could understand that as easily as we could, so we use it from time to time.
We have a junior jogger here, and I think it's his mother that wants to ask a question, Mike.
Yes, first I want to say we really enjoy watching you.
Oh, thank you very
much. And we're wondering, is there any way, since we've sort of had an early spring and summer, is there a way to predict whether we're going to have early snow?
You know, there really isn't. The National Weather Service Long Range Prediction Group attempts 3 times a year to give some kind of an outlook, seasonal outlooks, and they only do it for temperature. And they only tell us whether it's going to be above or below normal, and about a 60% chance of it being above or below normal. I guess the best way for us to really tell here, there's been a couple of local studies done, one by John Graff, that has to do with heating degree days accumulated in the months of October and November, and then we can carry that on, and there's a very good correlation between heating degree days in those months and what kind of heating degree days we will experience in the winter, which is really what we're concerned about. But Bruce Watson, consulting meteorologist and also a strong contributor to our weather guide, let us know through our phenologist Jim Gilbert that he's predicting about 60 inches of snow this year. Now, he doesn't say whether that's going to come early or going to come late. We normally have about 45 inches of snow here in the Twin Cities, so 15 inches more than normal.
Everybody held their breath. I think it's not going to come at one time, folks. It'll be over the...
I don't know. It may all come in November and be over with for the rest of the winter.
We have so many other questions. Mike, I think you're going to be cornered for a while, but our time on television is up. Folks, Mike will be here for a few minutes afterward. We won't let him away. And the Weather Center, come and visit it throughout the entire state fair. On Monday, incidentally, Dave Moore is going to be with us. So we're going to have all of our friends from Channel 4 here. Mike, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome.
Don't we all want to thank Mike? And we'll be back with the Reedy Family Singers in just a moment. Don't go away.
Brighten your day. What a difference a few fresh flowers can make. Oh, hey, thanks. Sample a few fresh flowers. Pick up Bachman's Sampler Bouquet at all Bachman's and European flower markets today.
Bachman's Sampler Bouquet is pompons for $2.99.
Butterball presents
The spirits of the first turkey lovers.
Time for Dad's surprise. This wee bird is already stuffing. Frozen for freshness. That goes freezer to oven. No toil.
Stuffed Butterball. Delicious stuffing with real celery and onion. Tastes fresh as homemade.
Turkey on a weekday?
We worked all day. They play it all day.
Stuffed Butterball from Swift. One of 3 ways to make any dinner special.
While visiting the Minnesota State Fair this year, try a tasty, home-cooked, reasonably priced meal at the Epiphany Dining Hall, just west of the Horticulture Building.
Our Place, a coffee house for handicapped people and their friends, is a place to relax, hear live music, meet new friends, just spend time with others. Make Our Place your place every Thursday night at the McDonald's Center at 19th and Nicollet in Minneapolis. For information, call 721-1681.
Cindy, we already mentioned that Dave Moore is going to be out here with us on Monday.
And we're going to take you on a junk food tour of the Minnesota State Fair and tell you how to diet while you're out here. Can you believe that?
I don't think that can be done. Do you, folks? We'll check on Monday. We're also going to meet the newly named Minnesota Teacher of the Year on Monday. The Reedy Family Singers. They've been, I think, about 9 years ago was the first time I ever worked with them. The family are a great group of friends as well as fine performers. They're performing right now at the Minnesota State Fair. Here they are, the Reedy Family Singers.
Chicken. What about there? No, Mom said only the Blue Ribbon original recipe. There he is! Finally! Yummy.
Nothing like the Colonel's original recipe. Only one with his secret blend of 11 herbs and spices and the blue ribbon.
That's original recipe. Mom was right. Even got the blue ribbon. So good at the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Famous Footwear has more back-to-school savings.
Good shoes. Good prices. That's why they're famous.
You've seen these Adidas in other stores for $32. Well, they're $20 at Famous Footwear. And Stride Rights, $26 elsewhere, $16 at Famous Footwear. Scuff Tuffs, $20 in most stores, $15 at Famous Footwear. Good shoes, good prices. That's why we're famous. Famous Footwear.
Looking good together, looking good.
You can look good, too, in your Lookin' Good T-shirt. This limited edition is now available from WCCO-TV for only $1.50. And they come in medium, large, or extra large. So send your check or money order to T-shirt, WCCO-TV, 50 South 9th Street, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55402. And you'll be looking good.
WCCO Television for Campaign 80.